All right, it's 5 o'clock. We'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. Can I get an approval of today's agenda?
A motion to approve today's agenda.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Mr. Rutledge, you want to lead us in the prayer and pledge?
Yes, I will. Thank you, Lord Jesus, for your love and forgiveness. Please, Lord, give us wisdom and guidance as we make decisions for the citizens of Jones County. In Christ's name I pray. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I think the minutes from the October meeting were distributed. Is there a motion to approve the minutes as they were prepared?
They were,
There you go.
that was a lightning fast meeting.
Yes, it
I
was.
hate you missed it.
Yes, it was.
You do.
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the October 2nd.
I'll second.
That's for you to sign,
Okay.
to pass around. Yeah. Mr. Goodman, I think we have the veteran homesteads first. Thank you.
We currently have 5 veterans homesteads pending review, and we recommend approving all 5 exemptions. I think you'll have those.
We have the list. Is there a motion to approve the,
I'll make a motion to approve the 5 listed homestead applications.
A second.
all in favor? Okay. All right, those are approved. Mr. Goodman?
Yes, ma'am. We currently have 1 UCUVA application that's filed during the appeal period, as well as 1 FLPA continuation. In addition, there's 1 CUVA no penalty breach request due to age, and 1 CUVA breach with penalty request. The tax commissioners reviewed the breach penalty with the applicant, and they've agreed to pay it in order to proceed with the sale of the property. We recommend approval of all requests.
Is there a motion?
A motion to approve all those requests.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Goodman?
Okay. We've been making progress on appeals lately, resulting in 244 ENRs so far. We also have 2 deed issues that need to be corrected with an ENR, and 1 homestead exemption issue, and 2 CUVA breaches, bringing our total to 249 ENRs, and we recommend approval of all 249.
I'm going to look at these just for a second.
Yeah, give us 1 minute. All right, I'm good. You good, Jim?
Yes, ma'am.
Alex?
I'm
Okay.
good.
Yeah, good.
Okay.
All right, is there a motion to approve the 249 error and reliefs?
A motion to approve the 249 error and release.
I'll second.
All in favor? All right.
We have completed processing 23 motor vehicle appeals and recommend that they all be approved.
Do y'all want to see these? I can pass them. Or these.
No, I don't want to see them.
Nah,
Okay.
I got the Cliff Notes right here.
Okay. I make a motion to approve the motor vehicle appeals as submitted.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Okay. We've been making steady progress across several key projects. CUVA renewals and FLPA for 2026. We processed 96 CUVA renewals and 1 FLPA for 2026. Notices were mailed out on October 22nd, well ahead of the October 31st deadline. Mobile home parks, we currently have 34 mobile home parks on file. The inventory requests, which are also due by October 31st, were mailed out on October 30th.
Great.
On appeals, we're continuing to work diligently through the appeals process. Out of 488 total appeals, 418 have been resolved, leaving 70 open. Of those remaining, 3 have received a 30-day notice. They will automatically resolve by December 1st. Taxpayers who received a 30-day notice still have the option to appeal to the Board of Equalization. Currently, 61 appeals are scheduled for BOE hearings, with the next hearing set for November 12th and 24th. We expect the majority of those to be heard in November, with 1 additional hearing day planned for December. We'll confirm the December hearing date after the currently scheduled sessions are finished. The BOE has issued final opinions on 6 appeals, which will automatically resolve by November 18th, unless the taxpayer files an appeal with the Superior Court before the 30-day notice. We anticipate having all appeals resolved by January 31st and 2026, hopefully by December 31st. Well, there'll be 30 days in there. Technical appraisal services, as of October 27th, of 13,100 residential properties, they have looked at 11,673. Of 2,400 agricultural properties, they have looked at 1,575. Of commercial, of the 420 commercial, they have done the field work for 404. Industrial, they have reviewed all 22. Exempt properties, they have reviewed all 390. And pre-built mobile homes, they have looked at 305 out of 850. They are doing excellent on all of this.
Great.
They are a great company to work for and have been fantastic to work with. They're really good to work with. Again, this is just the field reviews that they've done. They've still got to go in, crunch numbers, and work their tables and everything, but they had said that they would be done by June 1st. I anticipate them being done well before then. Like I said, they do great. The public utilities, the state of Georgia is currently reviewing appeals related to public utilities. Once those are finalized, we'll receive updated values, and I've confirmed with the state of Georgia that our contact information is correct. Brian, Mr. Jackson's already verified that the timeline for receiving those values can vary. For reference, we received the state values in early December in 2023, but not until January in 2024. We'll continue to keep the board informed on these, and we'll let you know as soon as we get the updated figures.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I guess we're public comments.
So, Mr. Davis had initially planned to be here, the acting chief appraiser, and indicated that he is not feeling well enough to come, which I certainly understand. But we did discuss the aerial imaging, which this board has discussed, the commissioners have discussed, and I believe he was going to bring it up. And so in his absence, I'll bring it up, and I know you're aware of it as well. So in the state findings, one of the items that was in the report was that the aerial imaging that we have is outdated, and it was recommended that the county update the photography. The commissioners are aware of it, and we've been aware of it. It is my understanding that EagleView is a single source provider through the Schneider Company, which will get verification. We've already received some estimates from them to provide some fairly unique imaging where not only do they interact with the system, and Schneider, of course, is Q Public, but they also provide, I call it 3D, there's another word for it, but it's a four-sided, imaging where you can essentially measure the property from the imaging. And so we did discuss the need to move forward on that, and I don't believe, once that's verified, that would be an issue that would have to go out for quotes, because they are the sole source for Schneider. So he did recommend that we consider going ahead and moving on that so that we can get on their schedule. And that would basically entail confirming, of course, that they are single source, and then requesting the funding from the commissioners.
Need a motion for that?
Please.
Okay. I'll make a motion to authorize the chair to pursue contracting for aerial imaging to include requesting funding from the Board of Commissioners.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We should have an update, obviously, then by next month's meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Is that all you have?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you for everything.
Thank you, Judge.
Sounds like y'all have done
Thank
great.
you. Thank you.
Okay, public comments? Is there any-
Yes.
okay. You can give us your name, please.
Jacob Bates and my wife Jana. We've been
I'm
building
sorry, Janet?
Jana.
Jana, okay.
We've been building a house on North Cross Road, and we started in Thanksgiving of '23, and this all started when we got our tax bill in October, and for $6,100. I called that day to understand why my bill was that price, because we're still building, and I spoke with Mr. Gibbons about it, and he told me that it was based on the value at that time, which is 80%. I asked him when that date, when did the value take effect for 25? And he would kind of never gave me a straight answer. So I went in last week to ask the office, and they said it's based on January 1. 25 is the base. And they said my value is 80% completed as of January 1st. He said that he came to my place in January to do an assessment, but I told him that he could not come in. I have no recollection of that meeting ever coming to, he never came and talked to me. He's been to my house before, and it was the same, they walked around and did what they had to do, and they left. So this is all, I'm just trying to pick up pieces as it goes, but we've been building for 2 years now. So I tried to explain to him, he gave me paperwork. I have framing inspections, electrical inspection, all that. The dates don't line up. He said he had to do his best guess because I never let him in the property. I tried to show him where we were at that time. As of January 1, we had just hung sheetrock the week before Christmas. So if he goes by the form that he gave me, we're well under 50% at that point. On top of that, I pulled a permit, and my house is 3,200 square feet, and whenever I got my tax bill, it's saying it's 3,800 and something square feet. So I don't know. I know where the other 600 is coming from. We put a stairwell to above our garage, but it's not finished. So I don't know how he says it's an extra 600 square feet if he came to my property before sheetrock, but he also came and said it was 80% complete as of January. I have receipts for where I purchased stuff. I paid the sheetrock person that hung it all January 16th. That's when we started painting as of February. We started doing the electrical finish work. In March of 2025, I finally passed my electrical final inspection. So it really comes down to, I understand I have to pay property taxes on my property. In '24, I did not get one for the build, and I just assumed that you don't get a bill until you finish, which now I know that's not. It's based on January 1 of where you're at percentage-wise. So as of January 2024, when we started building, we had just laid the block foundation and really just started framing. So that's why I guess it just fell through the cracks. Whatever that is, it's still only like 10% built at that point. But January 2025, I have pictures, I have receipts for I paid stuff, inspections, showing that it's under 50% complete, not 80% as he's trying to say it is. I tried to explain this to him, and he said the only thing I can do is come to y'all and talk to y'all about it.
Did you file an appeal?
So that's why the first thing I called, October 2nd, I talked to him for 30 minutes. I got this tax bill in and explained to him that I had to file appeal in May. And in May, I never received anything like this.
The assessment notice
Yes,
went out.
I never received a assessment notice in May. Also did not receive one in 2024. I did in 2024, it was just for the land value at that point. So I'm like, okay, that, me just thinking that your house will get assessed once it's complete. And that's not how it is, so I understand that. It's based on what it is at that point. And he's saying he's making his best guess because he came to my house and told me, and said I did not let him in at that point. So I don't really.
Well, I'm hearing two different, well, there's three issues
Yes.
that I'm hearing. One is, and I'll certainly give Mr. Goodman an opportunity to speak, but he is correct in that if a person cannot, if an employee cannot get in a
Right.
house, which you can say, no, you don't have to,
Right.
I'm not letting you in the house, then we do have to use
Our best
the
guess.
tools that we can use to guesstimate. And so the extra square footage are one of those things that I'm learning is frequently pulled in because you're having to guess that,
Right.
oh, that's not finished or it is finished. So I understand that. That's issue number one. Issue number two is that, from what I understood you to say, you had not received anything with the bill on it.
Right.
But the assessment notice would have shown
Right.
the
value.
assessed value.
Correct.
And had you had come in then or spoken, even filed an appeal, that would have provided that opportunity to sit down and remedy all of this through looking at your receipts or allowing him to come out and just look at the property. But more likely to have to go backwards and do like what you're explaining.
Right.
The third issue is that at this juncture, the board is not legally authorized to make exceptions to the appeal deadline. This has been brought up, we had several people come to a prior meeting
2
in
months ago.
Right.
It was
September, or
because
August.
we tried, we even tried. But
We
we
listened
were
to.
told by the county attorney.
Yes,
can't
we consulted with the county attorney, and so there's no provision for that. So what I'm basically hearing then is that you're disputing that he was not allowed in, that you did not.
I never heard
Keep
this.
him
I never
from
had
in.
I never had this conversation with him about him not letting him in. And if that's the case, then I never had a conversation with him about walking through the property. So at some point, he's gone through there and walked through it without my permission, but the next time he came, he said I didn't allow him. So if we never had conversations about walking through the property, then how has he ever walked through it? If he says I can tell him, no, he can't come in, but I never allowed him the first time he came out there to go in, then it's just a he say, she said at that point. And and I asked him, okay, what date is it? Because I have pictures and I work full time, so I know if it's the day he came, then it's either me there or there's nobody there, or there's a worker there. And if it's not me there, then there's nobody allowed to say, yes, you can come in or not come in. I understand his point is most people build a house and they get it done within a year, and we're pushing 2 years. So, but also, if I would have had anything in May, I would have done this in May, not waiting till now because I actually got a tax bill now. My understanding in May, they sent a value of the house, but they didn't actually send a bill.
Correct.
So,
So it would have been the value
Right, so-
that you would have been contesting at that time.
okay, but if I didn't receive it, but also didn't receive one in 24, how would that's why.
Well, you received one in 24,
Yes,
you said,
for
but
the
it was
land.
just the
Land,
land.
correct.
Right, so you would have presumably received one this year under your reasoning, which I completely understand because I built a house not too terribly long ago.
Right.
But your reasoning would be that you would at least expect to receive the notice then on the land itself at the very least, correct?
Right. Yes. So if it's based on, but.
But you're saying you
I
did
just-
not receive it at
I did
all,
not see-
which,
So I would have thought it would just be the land again. Because
Right.
that's what it was the previous year.
But when
So
you-
now when I got the tax bill, I see what it was. That's why I called him that day, and we did not resolve it. So I came to the office and talked to him, and then he was told that I had to come to this meeting. Is the only way I can resolve it.
okay.
And now we're saying that we can't resolve it at all without, I don't know how we resolve it. We don't resolve it. I have to pay pretty much, even
Well,
though it's not correct.
let me hear from Mr. Goodman, if you don't mind, for just a minute, and we'll,
Hey, can I ask a question?
sure.
That mailing address didn't change or anything?
No,
from the previous
we
mailing?
live here. We're building a house behind us.
Okay, so there was no reason for it not to show up
Right.
next year. But all we can say is apologize about that, about the way the office was run, but my CUVA ran out, I didn't receive a notice on it.
Right.
So like the previous administration wasn't as good at sending out the notices.
Correct.
But I don't know how much you have on your plate building a house, and you
Right.
can't even keep up with your day-to-day life, but you can't think to say, oh, I didn't get my assessment, and go up there and ask for it. But sometimes you have to do that. Like, if you know that there's a deadline coming up, and like 10 years is your covenant, so like, that's out of sight, out of mind. You're not even
Correct.
gonna think about calling up here. So I understand your
Yeah,
grievance.
and that's
not
why,
getting that
and that's why I
notice.
didn't think much of it, because I didn't also receive one for the previous year when we had started already building in November. So that was to my surprise when I saw the tax bill. And then I understand I'll have to pay property taxes, so I'm just trying to correct where we are as of January 1.
Well,
It's not a couple $100, it's thousands of dollars difference than what it'd be. And on top of that, the square footage is not correct. So I'm even paying even more than what I should be paying. But I can't appeal any of that because I didn't get an assessment. And even this assessment doesn't show square footage on it. I have to go to Q Public to actually see the square footage that they assessed it at.
okay. Well, one of the issues that came up in the numerous people that showed up were, and we talked about it, I think the gray post office is notorious. I think there's findings or investigations or whatever about that of not delivering mail. We addressed people who said they did not get it, people who got it but misplaced it, people who got it at the last minute but did not have enough time or didn't think to act quick enough to
Right.
file the appeals. And in every single event, we were told there is no statutory authority in the state that allows this board to make an exception at all. Now, from a board standpoint, we may not be able to remedy that, and I would have to defer to Ms. Riley to tell you what's the mechanism to correct the issues for the next evaluation. I assume the reval would also capture that. If there's an issue regarding employees, I'm happy to hear that. You know, this is, I've talked to more than one taxpayer who's built a house that has not allowed Mr. Goodman in.
Right.
And, you know, whether it's that person, a worker that was there, you know, that's apparently more common than
Right.
we would imagine.
Right, and you would think if that was the case, he would document day, time, who it was that didn't allow him in. It's not a Yeah, it was somebody in a truck, or it was you, and I had no, how do you prove that? How do you prove that you went somewhere and said, without some kind of proof? You just notate, I didn't get allowed in? How's it, you can do that in every property, and nobody would know.
Okay. Well, do you mind giving us a minute and let's hear him from
All
Mr.
right.
Goodman, and you just stand by? Mr. Goodman, if you'll come to the microphone so we can,
Would it be all right, because I've got everything that I need to, I will.
okay, no, that's fine.
Okay. First of all, did Minnie put these in y'all's?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She did.
By state law, the following individuals may go on property outside of buildings posted otherwise in order to carry out the duty of making appraisals. And, that's kind of standard boilerplate. But we have to give reasonable notice. One of the reasonable notices is newspaper ad, website, local access channel, posting signs, radio ads, phone calls, notice by mail, and permits. It's always been understood, kind of a tacit approval, when you get a permit, they have to go out there and look at it, Tim and Brian, and we have to go out to look at it to value it. Do y'all have the pictures from when we were out there? We were out there on 2/8/24, and I've got pictures of all of that.
Okay, yeah.
2/8, we went out and we measured it. They didn't have any plumbing or anything stubbed up then. We went out a month or so afterwards. Tommy, it was on Tommy's tablet, but we went out after that, and that was when we were able to get the bathroom fixtures and kitchen fixtures and all that. That was like, I would say, May or June of 25. Let's see. Also on here, at that time, the first time we went out there in February, there wasn't anything upstairs over the garage. The next time we went out, that's when we were able to measure this. And what we do is that, you can see from the garage there, anything that isn't 6 foot of height, we don't count. So we came in 6 foot and measured that, and that's what we measured. After the beginning of the year, you can file a taxpayer's return. We'll be happy to go out there and remeasure. If y'all tell me to go measure now, I'll go measure. On Tim's report there, the insulation was finished.
Tim Petrowski is who we're speaking of, okay.
On 4/4/24, he passed the insulation. Typically, when you finish the insulation, the next step is drywall. So that was 4/4. That left them roughly a little under 8 months to finish that. And, well, what we do and have done for, I've been here 12 years, when houses like that are being built, we go up. If the builder is there, or we look for the person in charge and get permission. Sometimes there's no one there. We go in, we measure. We've never had anybody, well, a few people complain about us. But, we go in and do our job. It's our job to fairly and uniformly value property, and I feel that we did that in this case. The insulation being in 4/4/24 would have put it at 61%. And there was almost 8 months, like in 4 days, there were 8 months. And I figured, like I said, I went out there, I was told I couldn't go in. Based on 12 years of experience of how normal things were, I thought he could have gotten 20% complete if I'd been able to go in there and I'd found something. we have, I think you have a percentage of completion sheet out there. And we take that, when we get a new permit, we attach this to the permit. And there's a property record card we fill out of, you know, what type of roof it has, what type of this, what type of that, what type of that. But we carry this with the permit every time we go out there and we check
Percent
off.
total.
But as I said, at the installation passed on 4/4/24. They had 8 months to work after that. I figured that they would have gotten it, I didn't put them at 100%. I mean, because, when I went out there, I could tell it wasn't 100% from the outside. But I figured it was, I mean, we have to use, when we're not allowed in, we have to use our experience. And I figured, like I said, I figured it was 20% sympathy.
Do you recall when you were last out there in '24?
It was around the end of December. I don't remember the exact date.
And you were told you could not go in the house?
He was parked out in the yard. He was the only one there. Normally, as you can see from these other pictures, there've been workers out there and everything. We always, when the brick guys were there, we went up and talked to them. I think the day we went there and measured and got the plumbing and all that, I don't think there was anybody there that day. But we always, when I pulled up that day, he was out there in the truck, and I told him who I was, why I was there, why I needed to go inside, and I was told I was not allowed to go inside.
Well, Mr. and Mrs. Bates, from looking at these pictures, and you're welcome to have my copy, I do see that there was a lot done, so whether it was 60 or 80%, again, I think even if we were trying to back this up based on some of these, we could look at what you're referring to of bills maybe from paint stores or when you painted. I assume you're contracting yourself.
I am self-building, so I'm the only person out there.
Yeah.
It was very quick until April, because we hired a framing crew, we hired insulation. After that, I had to wire it, plumb it, and heat and air, and you can see on that permit schedule that he's referring to, on November of 2024, that's when I got the framing inspection for HVAC and failed it. So I had to finish doing that, that's why I didn't start sheetrocking until the week before Christmas. So, and if he went there in November or December, whatever it is, the garage doors are wide open. So even if I told him no, I'm not allowed in, you can still see through the door. It's still wide open. But I told him I could come in, so if you're saying you're making a best guess, you have to go by these are the papers that he gave me. I did not bring anything extra. I have the permit schedule where Brian has come out there and either passed or failed inspections, and it leads all the way up until March of 2025. And on March, that's when we got our final electrical inspection to get full power.
Well, considering that we cannot go back and allow, we're not authorized by law to allow you to now file an appeal and that deadline's passed, I think the only remedy is that perhaps you make sure that our office has the correct information so that at the end of this year, we can tell exactly where you're at if you're not 100% complete, or so that the square footage is accurate, however you want to do it.
When I pulled the permit, it was accurate. So that's when I pulled the permit with the house plans, and I turned the house plans into your planning and zoning, which I had to do to get the permit. And it shows 32.6 square feet. So if you came out there and just started measuring, which would be attic space that he's referring to, that's an extra 600 and something square feet that he's adding on to this building that we can't fix with proof that I have, these are not correct. So.
Well, that is unfortunately what that appeal time is for. That is the correction period. We cannot control that you did or did not receive your assessment notice or did not appreciate what the taxes were going to be from the notice. I got my notice and I still, did not appreciate the shell shock of the tax bill, but that is the whole purpose of that appeal time, is to make these types of corrections. And so, I would suggest or say, the only thing like we could tell the other individuals who showed up is that, proactively just know if you don't get notice of your car tag, but your birthday's come and gone, I've got to come, get my new car tag, right?
But
It's
you
the
see
same.
where-
We're not building a
Do you
car.
see though where we're saying that we didn't,
If you want to come and speak, let's come back to the microphone.
it wasn't included on ours last year. And
Yeah.
so when we got our bill, we did not get the assessment that we should have gotten right, but we assumed that since it wasn't on our tax bill last year, that it wouldn't be this year because we weren't done building. And so that was, I guess, stupid of us to assume it's our fault, so I guess we'll just have to pay it.
The crazy thing is, and is you're sad, but reality, this exact same meeting, but almost a full house, happened 3 months ago, and it was the day after the deadline. And we literally stopped the meeting, went out and got on the phone with the county attorney. And even if we wanted to do it, we don't even have the authority to do it. Like as a board, we can sympathize with you and that kind of stuff, but there's literally, there's nothing in the state laws or state guidelines that lets us do anything about it.
But it can be corrected next year. But
Yes,
I know that's not this year.
but there were literally people that got it, they had got it that Sunday in River North.
Right.
We had a meeting on a Tuesday. They had got it on that Sunday and showed up on Monday or something. I mean, it was really close to the deadline.
You still
And,
have to say no.
but it was the deadline and we couldn't do anything.
Well, I wish we had known that before we wasted our time and missed our kids' soccer games.
Have y'all applied for your homestead?
We can't apply for a homestead unless we live there. We're not gonna build any.
Are you gonna be leaving there January the 1st?
No,
You're not?
Okay.
Okay.
maybe, I don't know. I mean, I gotta pay a $6,100 tax bill now, so,
Well, I was just gonna remind you to do that, because I don't
and I don't
help.
feel like, I've been trying to be respectful of him, but he's not telling the whole truth. That's the issue. And we have to take a word from one person. And now I come to the board after finding all this stuff out, and there's nothing we can do. It's just a he said, she said. He has no proof, no day that I told him he cannot come to the property. You would think if you said, you can't come in, all right, I'm here because this is what I'm doing. Your tax bill is gonna be based on what I see right now. There's no conversation.
Well, Mr. Bates, I understand, but the decision's not being, we're not making a judgment call saying his word versus your word. We're saying that this is something that should have been resolved during the legally authorized period, that's the assessment period, and that's when it could have been worked out.
Correct. But you're the board that oversees him, correct?
Yes,
So if he made a mistake, are you not the ones that have to correct it?
yes.
Okay. We can see that this is a mistake.
I cannot see that's a mistake.
How?
I cannot tell that from his word versus your word, and us looking at these pictures and going through that. Regardless, it would not change the fact that we cannot act on what you're asking us to act on.
It's-
There's nothing we can do at this juncture.
I
If you're
understand. I
asking
know what
me
you're- I'm not asking you to change
As
the
our
bill.
employee, are we doing anything about it? Then what I'm hearing is, he's saying he went there and was not allowed in, you're saying that did not happen.
Correct. But so he was not allowed in, so he said he had to make his best guess. So if you make your best guess, and you have a permit schedule, and you have a piece of paper that tells you what the completion is, if I did not get a pass a permit inspection, how would I already be down here? In
Well,
November of '24, I did not pass my framing, so I did not have sheetrock, so I could not be that far.
well,
It's physically impossible.
planning and zoning, their guidelines and everything are a little different than what ours are.
I got this from him and his office.
I know, but that's planning and zoning. You want to explain that, Bill?
But he's
The framing, as you can see from the pictures when we went out there in February, the framing is not actually, Tim never signs off on the framing. There's a thing there that says MEPS, that's mechanical, electrical, and plumbing. Until that is 100%, you never
Complete.
get the framing.
correct.
What we think of as framing is when the house is framed. As you can see from the February pictures, the house was framed from what we consider. They're talking about the structure, we're just talking about the overall building. The roof was dried in.
The
guys said
definition
we're
is
putting brick
different, that our office has to use for assessed values is different than what, say, Mr. Petrowski would look at. So plumbing, if plumbing's there, it doesn't matter if you've passed it or not, the plumbing's there,
Right.
therefore it is to be assessed if it's been installed. Why don't we do this? There's no resolution, as your wife said, there's no remedy we can provide you. If you want to stay and speak with me after the meeting, if you want to put something in writing to me, then I'm happy to address it. But as far as from an employee standpoint, but as far as the notice goes, there's nothing this board can do at this juncture. All I would encourage you to do is work with our office so that it can be correct. And the bill that comes out, or the assessment notice that comes out based on the end of the year progress is accurate. And then just make sure you stay on top of knowing that those come out and that you need to check them if you don't get it.
May.
Yes. Sorry. Okay. All right, are there any other public comments? All right, is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second? All right, we're adjourned.
It stays to give back to them. I put this right here on top, because that way they'll give those to Tanisha.
And then there's those.